Hello, scholars. We are going to be studying time again today, but we are adding something else to telling time. So we want to make sure that when we tell time, we are actually able to decide if it's that time in the AM or that time in the PM. Okay, so when we decide this, we need to be thinking in our minds, is it really early in the morning? Is it before lunch? Is it after lunch in the afternoon? Is it in the evening, which is like dinner time, or the time when we're relaxing after we've already eaten dinner? Is it nighttime? Or is it when we're already asleep and it's past midnight? Okay, so it's kind of a lot of questions, but I'll help you sort that out as we talk about AM and PM. One big clue that we talked about in class that can help you remember is that AM can be like at the morning time, okay? And we thought of PM as being past morning, okay? So that's one clue and one way we can think of it and help ourselves remember. Past morning, at morning. All right, so we can go over here and it says to write the time and circle AM or PM. So again, if I'm telling the time, I look at the hour hand first. I see that it just passed the 6. And then I look at my minute hand and I see that it is on the 6. Okay, so that means it went from 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Okay, so it is 6:30 in this picture. But I also have to decide and circle, is it 6:30 a.m. or 6:30 p.m.? So, I'm going to look at this. I see that she's stretching and she just got out of bed, taking off her slippers. The sun is out. She's not going to sleep, she's getting up. So, that's at morning time. That's when we get up. So, I'm going to choose a.m. It must be 6:30 a.m. Okay, so then I'm going to skip over to a different one. Right over here. Okay, so when I look at this picture, I see, first of all, I tell the time with my shorthand first. Okay, so that means that the shorthand just passed the 11, so it must be 11. Then I go to my longhand for my minutes. That's 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It's 11:25. Now, I know that the middle of the day, this is very important to remember, is noon. And the middle of the day is going to be 12 p.m. Okay, so that marks the very middle of our day. Anything after 12 p.m. is the afternoon because 12 p.m. is called noon, and that's like lunchtime. Okay, but if it's 11:25, it hasn't reached 12 yet. So it isn't noon yet. It's still at morning time. Okay? And at school, we eat lunch around this time too. Okay? So before this, a little bit before this time. And this girl right now is eating like a sandwich and she's having lunch. It looks like she's still at school in a cafeteria where she got the food. So even it hasn't reached noon yet though, so it can't be PM. It is not the afternoon, okay? It's 11, which is before 12, all right? So if it's still 11:25, it's still technically the morning. So we're gonna say at morning time, once again. So it is 11:25 a.m. Okay, I'm gonna kind of do one more over here. Just one more. She is leaving the bus. And this kind of goes in order. So this boy is looking at her go. She's not going towards the bus. If she's getting off the bus and there are already kids on the bus, it means believe that this is her stop and she's getting off at home. Okay, so we use the clues in the picture to help us decide what time of day it is. Okay, and it does say that the hour is 3. And over here, my minute hand is pointing to my 4. That's 0, 5, 10, 15, 20. So it is 3:20. All right, if it was 3:20 a.m., that would be 3:20 at the morning time. I do not get off the bus to go home in the morning. That happens in the afternoon. So 3:20 p.m. is the afternoon. If we say 3:20 a.m., that's really, 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 really early in the morning, and it's still dark outside. Okay? There would be no reason for us to be getting off the bus. We would be sleeping at 3:20 a.m. because 3:20 is only about 3 hours past midnight. Yep, we're still asleep. So that definitely wasn't right. So I want to make sure I do p.m. because that means the afternoon. Okay, so I'm actually going to give some more examples. This is what your work will look like today. And you will need to identify the rest of the pictures from the example that I just gave. Okay, so your assignment today has a few pages. Make sure you flip to each page. This says to decide whether the activity below would happen in the AM or the PM. Circle your answer. Okay. I'm going to try a different one. Eating dinner. If I am eating dinner, well, lunchtime, noon, definitely already passed. And it's evening. So it's not at morning time. Nope, it's the evening. It is past morning time. Let's see. I am eating a piece of cake. Okay, so this one's kind of funny because, I guess you could eat a piece of cake for breakfast, but most people don't do that. Most people would have that for dessert. And a lot of people eat dessert after lunch. No, not as much. Actually, after dinner. So I'm thinking if this is after dinner as dessert, then it's in the evening too. So I'm doing this in the PM. Excuse me. Okay, then there will be another page just like this, and it says draw the hands on the analog clock to match the time on the digital clock. Then circle AM or PM based on the description given. Okay, I'm finishing my homework at 5:55. Okay, so I'm going to go 5. That's my hour, so my shorter hand. So let me make that, but it's 55 minutes past 5. So it's almost 6. So I'm going to make my minute hand go past the 5 and almost to the 6. Then my longer hand is my minutes, showing 55. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So my minute hand should point and touch the 11 and make it a lot longer than my hour hand. Okay, so now I have to decide, is that AM or PM? If this was 5:55 a.m., that means 5:55 in the morning time, really, really early. I wake up at 6 a.m., 6 at the morning time. So there's no way I'm finishing my homework at 5:55 a.m. I am finishing my homework after school, because that's usually when I do homework. So if it's after school, it's past the morning time. It's past noon. Definitely is PM, 5:55 p.m. Okay, so the rest of it I'm going to leave up to you to try. And I'm going to give you a video before you take your exit ticket so you can learn a little bit more about AM and PM. And make sure you do your best.